one other order of business we need to handle, like I said before we get to the speakers tonight. And having worked in different parts of the country, I can tell you that the Northwest is uncommonly blessed with wonderful
Rain?
Well, it's got rain too, but that's besides the point. Thanks for mentioning it. At any rate, we were truly blessed with one of the, more than our share, I think, of wonderful geoscientists. And because of that, I think sometimes we tend to take it for granted. So any opportunity, particularly as president, that I have to honor somebody from our community, I tend to leap all over it. There's a particular individual who has probably relatively quietly made contributions in many areas of geologic science in the Northwest over at least the last 2 or 3 decades. He's been an employer, he's been a scientist, a wonderful friend to a lot of people. And at this particular point in time, he's fighting the battle of his life. So what we'd like to do is take this opportunity to honor him for his work and recognize it. And his name is Lepp, some of you probably know him. Curtis Coger, one of our former presidents, is going to come up and tell you a little bit about it. Thank you.
Since I've got the formal part of this, I had to put it down on paper. On behalf of Lepp and his company, Associated Earth Sciences, I'm pleased to accept this certificate recognizing Lepp's contributions to the geologic community in the Puget Sound region. Many of the longtime members of NWGS know Lepp has had a lifelong interest in geology, beginning with many long summers spent camping in the mountains of Montana with his family where his dad pursued hobby mining interests. After leaving the thriving metropolis of Whitehall, Montana, which I understand if you blink, you really do miss it, and completing his tour of duty with the U.S. Navy during the unpleasantness over Vietnam, he entered the geology program at the University of Puget Sound and graduated in 1977 with a degree in geology and with minors in chemistry and physics. And his ability in math has certainly helped him throughout his career. While at UPS, he developed a keen interest in the Pleistocene stratigraphy of the Puget Lowland. He worked under Professor Daines, who many of you know, on a gravity study for his senior thesis. Lepp's study, titled Geophysical Investigation in Southeastern Puget Sound, Washington, was published in the Northwest Science in 1983 and combined elements of stratigraphy, geomorphology, seismic gravity, and structural geology. Pretty good for a senior thesis. Following graduation, he worked briefly for Cascade and Hart Krauser before forming Associated Earth Sciences in 1981. While still over at Hart Krauser, he worked on the stratigraphy of the I-90 corridor. And although a full manuscript was never published, an abstract titled Late Pleistocene Stratigraphy along the I-90 corridor from Beacon Hill to the east end of Mercer Island was included in proceedings from the 56th annual meeting of the Northwest Scientific Association. At about that time, correlations between the stratigraphic sequences identified in the northern Puget Lowland, based largely on work by Easterbrook, and South Sound sequences identified by Crandall and others were in complete chaos. You may remember that about 1981 was when Easterbrook and others had just published the results of age date constraints based off of new amino acid, paleomagnetic, and fission track methods, which basically dismantled prior correlations of pre-Vashon age deposits. Based on his detailed stratigraphic analysis of some 300 exploration borings, a lot of field work, and observations during tunneling activities and operations, Lepp correlated the possession drift, which is identified on Whidbey Island by Easterbrook, with the Beacon Hill drift along the I-90 corridor. He also concluded from the stratigraphic analysis that the terminus of the possession age ice sheet was located in the vicinity of the latitude of Seattle. And this interpretation, of course, then implied that the north of the latitude of Seattle, Olympiage deposits would span a time age range constrained between the possession and Vashon glaciation. And therefore, south of the latitude of Seattle, non-glacial deposits would span a time interval between the Double Bluff and Vashon glaciation. Subsequent workers have reached that same conclusion, but there is ongoing work right now by Kathy Truce, Terry Kruth, and others who are still investigating all of that, and we'll see what ends up unfolding with their ongoing studies. The breadth of Lou's interest in the various fields of geology are illustrated, I think, by his next two publications. In '89, Lou and Gary Flowers, who's here tonight, put together an article called Natural Construction Materials, which was included in Volume 1 of the Centennial Bulletin 78 on the engineering geology in Washington, which was published by the Washington Division of Geology and Earth Resources and chaired by Dick Calster, who of course many of you know. When Lou had formed Associated Earth Sciences in 1981, his first major project included mapping and cataloging sand and gravel resources for about 1,000 square mile area in the Puget Sound Open. In 1993, Lou was the primary author of an article titled Channel Erosion in Steep Gradient Gravel Cave Streams, and that was published in the Bulletin of the Association of Engineering Geologists. This article explained a simple method for determining the erosion threshold in gravel cave streams. And the technique provides the geologist, the geotechnical consultant, with the ability to provide important information on natural constraints of stream channels to civil engineers as they design stormwater release rates and duration intervals for stormwater facilities. Lou's interests have also included hydrogeology, where he has modeled flow systems as diverse as interflow interactions with wetlands to groundwater flow in the entire upper Snoqualmie River Basin. In-house research activities have included experiments designed to determine rates of water particle movement through aquifer media, and the use of grass-covered and sand filters as a medium to reduce turbidity and stormwater runoff while maintaining permeability. But I think perhaps the best illustration of his dedication to the science of geology and support for the local geologic community can be summarized in a couple of examples. First, under Lou's direction, ASI has systematically collected and cataloged a few radiocarbon age dates every year on selected samples for the past several years. And currently, we have an in-house radiocarbon 14 database from some 30 or 40 localities across the Puget Lowland. Not something that's usually done in consulting firms. And in meeting with Kathy Trost and others earlier in the summer, we basically said, Kathy, when you're ready for it, we'll give you those age dates to help you with your Seattle mapping project. Second, for the past several years at Lou's direction, AESI is maintaining very high levels of membership with NWGS, which has steadily increased over the years as the company has grown. Our company currently has 21 NWGS members, and that's out of a company of about 65 people, so a very high percentage, and it's basically all of our professional geologists. Lou has encouraged AESI's geologists to participate in NWGS. I have had the opportunity to serve the society in various capacities over the years, treasurer, president-elect, president, all those sorts of things. Jill Wheeler, who's here tonight, has handled mailings in the past, and of course Steve Rupp is current president. Lou, thank you for your many contributions to the geologic community, for building a very strong geologically based consulting firm, and for your friendship over the years.
Thank you, Curtis. I believe that Sig Schwartz also wanted to comment on Lou's career. Unfortunately, Sig is out of state right now, but he did send his newly appointed representative, Bill Gross, to come and read his statement.
Yeah, Sig is an old friend of Lou's and had a brief note. Dear Lou, it is with extreme sorrow that I write this letter after hearing of your current circumstances. You have been sometimes a client, sometimes a competitor, always sincere and always a good and highly respected person. Starting with your excellent training at UPS with Doc Rock and Dr. Frank Taylor, you've made substantial and very significant contributions to our understanding of the geological complexities of the region in which we live. More importantly, you have been a master at utilizing your technical gifts for the betterment of society in a very practical way. Also, you have the gift of surrounding yourself with dedicated and competent associates who very much love and respect you. You will always be respected and never forgotten. God bless.
I don't know if there's anybody else that has anything they'd like to add at this point. We are videotaping this, so Luke has a chance to be part of this. Unfortunately, he couldn't attend the meeting tonight, but we do want to make sure that he knows we're thinking about him and pulling for him. Is there anybody else who?
Kathy Schmidt and Natalie Hardy.
Okay. Oh, relative to the vote for that. Okay, yeah, we can do that. Okay, well, if there's no further comment relative to Lou's accommodation here, why don't we all turn to the camera here and say hi, Lou? Okay, let them know we're thinking about it. How you doing, Lou?
Hi, Lou.
The wave is slow motion.
Thanks again, Lou, for all you've done for us. I guess we have a comment from Anthony Harding and/or Kathy Cruz relative to